you talked about it, was found in Christ.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was through struggle and hardship, because when he chooses you and sets you aside, he has a way of calling and pulling his own to him.
Yes.
And do that early. I'm like, what's wrong with it? Take some of this wisdom and seek the Lord out if you're a young person.
Love that.
Instead of having to go hit every brick wall. I do believe that we don't have to hit every brick wall. Yeah, let somebody else hit something. We don't have to hit them all.
Amen. Good.
That's good.
In 1995, I was a history teacher, and I was teaching South African history to my 7th grade students. And we studied Stephen Biko, an African nationalist. And a quote that he said is, "The most potent weapon in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed." So the most potent weapon in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Once somebody has control of your mind, they control your entire life. So that happens in marriages, in friendships, in relationships, in parenting. You cannot let people have your mind. The way you think about yourself, the way you think about your finances, the way you think about life in general. And I've stood by that over the years, that I can't give them my mind. That's a potent, because they're going to use that against me. They're going to use your words against you. They're going to use your actions against you. They're going to use your thoughts against you. So if I were to tell any young woman something, they have to understand that men are stimulated by what they see. Women are stimulated by what they hear and what they feel. You don't want to attract a young man solely off of the way you look, because your looks will fade. But they're a good man, a God-fearing man, a man that is full of discernment, will be attracted to the God in you. That discernment, he'll see that she's confident, she's bold. What is it about her that makes her different? Her dialect is different. The way she walks, the way she holds her head up. What is it about her? It is, her mind is set. I know that my hope is in nothing less than Jesus' love and his righteousness. And once you learn that about yourself and that boldness, yes, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. You hear the scripture, but what is it? What does that mean to be fearfully and wonderfully made? Knowing how beautiful you are, your complexion, your hair texture, your height, the way you dress. I love beautiful women.
Yes.
And the beauty I see in them is not what they wear, but is in their smile. It is in their eyes.
Yes.
And I'm raising a young black woman. And I take that seriously. And I always say, and to the point that I would check her daddy, pastor, like, tell her she looks good. Tell her braids look nice. I don't want her going out in the streets and trying to find a young man to say that, or social media to say that. Mommy, do I look nice? You look beautiful, baby. Mommy, do you like this? Well, why don't you try something different to see how you like that? And getting her to understand, love who you are and how you wear things and how you like doing things. But if you remember that the most potent weapon in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Cover your mind. And the only way, as the lady said, that you can cover your mind is through a relationship that I believe with Jesus Christ, because he will guard your heart and your mind.
All right. Ms. Holland.
Yes, I like everything that has been shared. It's been great. So I'm going to say 3 things. First thing I would say is journal. My mom gave me a journal when I was in the 4th grade, and since then I've had a journal. And when I tell you, I go back and I read it, and I'm like, oh, this friend is here, this friend is not. This is what you thought, or just the growth that I've seen, and then even just the level of emotion and self-control and everything. It's been awesome, and my goal is to one day hand that down to my children so they can see, like, Mom was in this stage when she was 15 too. So I would say journal. I would also say know that we're all one decision away from being in a different spot.
That's true.
So don't think that you're above or beneath anything. So I watched The Breakfast Club, and Mike Epps said something that was so powerful. He's goofy, but it was good. He said, when the banks are closed, we're even. He said, so don't think that, the money is fluid, is liquid. So when that's gone, we are all on the same level. And then lastly, I would say think for yourself. Think for yourself. You have a mind. God gave you a mind. God gave you discernment and wisdom. And people will try and think for you and make you feel confused or make you think that you're crazy. think for yourself. And I believe a woman's intuition is always on point. Always on point. And if when you have that, because like my grandpa said, your yes needs to be yes and your no needs to be no. And so you have to think for yourself.
Yeah, I love it. Sassy.
Okay. So I would say embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Where you start is not how you're going to end. And just know that during that process, it is a process. And just embrace everything that comes with it. And knowing, a lot of times I see that young kids or young teenagers, they get caught up in the here and now, what's going on right now, and they can't see that it's not going to always be like that. And so I would just encourage, some young lady to let her know that it's not going to always be the way you see it. It does get better. Just keep pushing, keep praying, keep hoping it won't be that way.
Yeah.
And then I also say that we're ever evolving. As everybody said, who we were at 13 is not who you're going to be when you turn 30. So the beauty is you get to write your story. That would be the biggest thing that I believe is that you as a teenager, young lady, you get to write your story.
Good. Good. I love that. I am so inspired just hearing all of that. And I'll share mine. My thing that comes to me is that we need to stop assigning a value to our life based on what we've gone through. Based on what we've gone through, and give ourselves some grace for getting through it to where we are.
Amen.
We stay stuck because we're so upset about, dang, I did this or I did that. Don't assign a value to that because you're not finished yet. Or a timeline on that. And this is all a part of the process. And the other thing that really is real for me is my aha moment happened when I decided that every single bit of me was okay. The crazy, the confused, the sad, the mad, the reckless, all of that. That every single bit of it was good. And even in those moments where I was doubtful, I was fearful, I was crazy, I was all of those things, it was really designed to serve me, to teach me, to guide me, to minister to me, to reprimand me, but most importantly, to love me. And that's what I want to share with the women out there today, that it is okay. Honor yourself where you are, because you're not finished yet. You're not finished yet. And it's all a part of my process. And I wouldn't trade it in for anything. I said it back then, oh my God, I wish I could just move to the front of the line. But I would not have learned anything if I just moved to the front of the line. Right? So that's my piece on that I get really excited about. Cassandra knows me. She knows how I am, but I just think it's important because my platform is women, and I think that we are the apple of God's eye, and I believe that we often forget our value and just how powerful we really are. We forget that, and I'm glad that we can remind the women out there today that you are queens and you are deserving of that title. You really are. Okay, Cassandra, I think you want to do final thoughts?
Oh, no.
Or you okay? You got something else to share?
Yes, so I wanted to share a poem that I saw, or letter. It is written by Malik Canty. It's called Black Woman. Do you really know how beautiful you are? Black woman, you were born majestic and you were selected by the Creator to be a shining example of beauty at its highest peak. Do you know, black woman, that you possess a strength that others admire? Even if they don't confess, they know that you are one of the best. Black woman, Mother Earth, for centuries, you have proven over and over again that there is no one quite like you. Do you know, black woman, that the word queen came from you when your presence first came into existence? You have managed to hold your family together during difficult times. No female in history has taken as much abuse as you. How you were able to keep your beauty intact when everybody was trying to tear you down, remake you, taste and break you, shows the strength that seeps through your pores. Do you know, black woman, that the background is not the grounds you should be accustomed to? When I see you, wherever I see you, please walk proud, look proud, keep your beauty beaming above the crowd. You represent beauty and strength. Take time to notice, because I did. This is my tribute to you, black woman. No matter which shade that dominates your face, you bring so much beauty to our race. The first woman, the first queen, and the first to give birth on the earth are titles that belong to you, Black woman. May these words find you and remind you of who you are, who you really are, born to be a star, by Malik Canty, if you want to look that up.
Yes.
It is. I found it. I was like, it's so telling, because at the end of the day, we were the first to be the mother, to be the queen. So yes. And as we end, I want to segue into a couple of events that are coming up. Does anybody have anything that they want to share that they're doing before?
Let us know what you're doing.
Hair Oracle, share with us what you're doing.
Oh, I'm having a book release and a curlosophy event for women. It's a free event at Q Hair Spa that teaches you about your curls and your hair, kind of changing the verbiage in the industry a little bit more. Natural to me kind of became emotional, and people thought they didn't have to comb their hair anymore. Yes, went crazy with it. So I think we can love on curls a little bit more.
Come on now.
And so we're going to do a curlosophy event that talks about our curls, because everybody has a curl pattern and it's inclusive. So they started having natural hair beefs. Girl, I had to get out of that. I don't fight. I quit. I ain't in it.
Wait a minute, you don't fight, you take people to court.
Okay, you will go to court.
That's what I heard you say.
You will go to court. But so it is February 23rd from 2 until 4 at the salon. You can go to qhairspa.com or the Hair Oracle on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And where's the
I have to
salon
remember all
located?
these chats.
Where's the salon?
7172 North Keystone Avenue, Suite C.
That's next Saturday, correct?
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
First, do you have any events that you want to share with our listeners before we wrap up?
Yes, that's Friday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. We're having Women in Worship. A way that I like to celebrate my birthday is to always give back, and I try to do something where women come together and have a good time. And we're doing Women in Worship with Sister Latanya Clark, Minister Aaron Porter, and Brother Demetrius West and the Jesus Promoters will be coming. It's a free event. It's women going at it, getting it out, and getting it in. And then on April the 14th, it'll be our third annual Boss Brunch. It's something I started 3 years ago, where women entrepreneurs come together and get to network, receive new information. And it's going to be at the Indianapolis Public Library in the Special Occasions Room. It will be on Eventbrite, so that will be posted soon. Our speaker this year is going to be Linda C. Clemens. And we're talking about mastering mentorship, the power of the mentor-mentee relationship.
Very cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. So that's April the 14th. That's a Sunday, and it's a brunch. And that'll be from 2 to 4:30.
Awesome.
What time is the Women in Worship?
Women starts at 7 p.m.
So here on Let's Go There with Sassy C and Tia, we like to wrap up with our guests by doing final thoughts. And so the final thought is just something that you want to leave with our listeners about our topic today of celebrating the history of the Black woman present and today. So we will start with you, Miss Tammy. What would you like to share with our listeners today just about what we've been talking about, celebrating Black women today and yesterday?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you. This was quite an honor, and I feel like I have just been blessed by every single woman in this room. Like, I just feel like, I just made some new sisters. I'm so excited. But I guess anybody who's listening heard the power of what it looks like when Black women come together and how we can positively support each other. And the world would have us believe that we can't trust each other, that we shouldn't support one another, but we know that that's to be different. And I always say, and you've heard this before, look within. Mm-hmm. When you start feeling like you can't trust male or female, are you trustworthy? And that's where it starts. Are you a trustworthy friend? Right. And if you do the work to make sure that you're a trustworthy friend, God will not allow that to be unrewarded, and He will certainly send you trustworthy friends. So.
Miss Charlotte?
I would just say stay connected, and that connection is the key to all of our growth.
Miss Holland. Holland.
Oh,
I'm
you're right.
thinking about your last name, Bowden.
It's
Holland.
okay. Yeah.
Miss Holland.
I would just say give yourself some grace. Yeah. Every day, it's every day is a new challenge, and God gives us grace, and we don't understand it, but sometimes we need to be more gracious to ourselves. So I would say give yourself grace.
Miss Latia?
I would say it starts in the bathroom. I know that sounds crazy, but for me, and that's one thing about New Life, I could say I always would meet amazing women. We met in the bathroom. Our connection started in the bathroom
It sure
because
did.
I always made it a habit, and we would every time we would look at each other, she would have on a bad dress.